You can't understand Sat Nam unless you understand oneness. Satnam. Satnam is often translated as truth is my identity or I am truth. And that's part of it. It's a really lovely thing to say. It's a very validating thing to say. The idea is that when you say Satnam instead of hello or hi there, you are acknowledging a person's essence at the same time as you are greeting them. So Satnam comes from the Mool Mantra, which are the first words in the 6 scriptures. It's called the Sri Guru Granth Sahib. The Mool Mantra is an affirmation of unity. It is an affirmation of oneness. It declares that anything that I am, you are, and God is. That there is no separation between creator and creation. There is no veil, there's no mist, unless we create that. But there is no difference. So we are all in this experience together. We are all one energy. And the Mool Mantra affirms that. The first words of the Mool Mantra are Ek Onkar, which means exactly that. Creator and creation are one. And this was very revolutionary at the time that Guru Nanak proclaimed it. Today it's something that we hear a lot, so it was very much ahead of its time. And the next words are Sat Nam. You can't understand Sat Nam unless you understand oneness, because you can't understand that truth is your identity unless you understand that your identity is also tied to the identity of all, which is the same energy that is the entire universe, the entire creation, and creator. So Sat Nam not only means I am truth, but the identity of all of us is that essential truth. That beyond everything that we see and smell and taste and touch and imagine and think and say, that there is an essential truth to it all. There is an essentialness to it all, and that is Sat Nam. And when you say that to another human being, you are acknowledging that you understand the essentialness of their being. You understand that they are beyond their temper tantrums. You understand that they are perfect beyond their apparent flaws. You understand that they are creative. You understand that they are kind and that they are conscious. Underneath all of the barriers or the layers that maybe they've put in front of themselves to cushion themselves off from their essential beingness. Everyone puts up barriers around their essential beingness. We're not all walking around being 100% who we are all the time, because we have thoughts that get in the way. We have belief patterns that get in the way. We have, so many things that are going on. We have things that we've learned and things that we will learn, and experiences that are causing reactions in us. And all of these things, sometimes, a lot of the time, most of the time, are keeping us from being who we really are. And what we really are is that Sat Nam, that essential beingness. And that essential beingness is happy. That essential beingness is joyful. That essential part of each one of us, no matter what happens, is enjoying the experience. And that's something that is difficult to really connect with when you're not enjoying your experience. So that's why I've said before, happiness is the evidence of our spiritual connection. Because when we are feeling joy, when we are feeling happy, ecstatic, peaceful, we are experiencing the world through the same eyes, if you will, or through the same frequency as our Satnam, as our soul. We are experiencing the world at the same vibration as the essential part of ourselves. Not that it's separate, but we experience it as different because it's not physical. It's not something we can relate to in the gross sense, but everyone gross in the sense of being manifested, tangible, not disgusting. So to varying degrees, people experience their physical reality and their non-physical reality. So somebody who is what we would call psychic or extremely intuitive is just better at translating the messages that they are getting from their essential self. It's just better at connecting to the stream of intelligence that is coming from that essential part of their own self. There's nothing magic about them. They are just more tuned into that frequency if they are truly getting messages. Not everybody who writes psychic on their window, for them is that the case. When we as yogis cultivate that intuition, and we cultivate it by not only doing the practices like doing the yoga and the meditation and being in nature and connecting to other humans in a real and heartfelt way, we not only get it through these practices, but we have to get it through a momentum of trusting and of listening to these messages that we're getting. So it's a momentum that we build up. It's a momentum of feeling something, because that's the language of our intuition, is feeling. And you'll feel something and you'll listen to it. And then you'll evaluate whether that was the right choice for you or not. And so we start to get a sense of intuitive understanding of connection, of listening to something more subtle than we could with our ears. Most people can relate to the expression a gut feeling, or gosh, I'm not feeling good about this. Most people, in fact, I would venture to say all people, could be making intuitive choices right now, whether they begin meditating or not. This doesn't feel good. Don't do it. That's a really good message that you're getting. Even if the thing that you don't want to do might be really good for you, if it's not feeling good, then you need to find a way to feel good about it before you engage in it. Because if you start off your journey feeling horrible about your decision, you're not going to go anywhere beautiful with that. You have to start your journey knowing that you are about to embark on a beautiful journey, and then the place that you get to will reflect the feeling that you started with. So this is my encouragement to you, to begin to start listening to the way that you feel. The beautiful thing about our emotions is that they tell us where we are in relation to the essentialness of our being. People call that essentialness the soul, or the inner being, or even God, or your Christ consciousness. It is that larger aspect of yourself, larger because it's not contained in a physical form, that you can connect to and get guidance from, because it's receiving the messages that you are sending it, and then it is holding true to them, and it is telling you how to get to that. So when we experience an emotion like depression, or even slight discomfort, sadness, fear, anger, what that tells us is not, I am an angry person, or I am a depressed person, or none of that. None of that, because you are Satnam. We are all essentially part of creation, and there is no sadness and no depression and no anger in that energy. That is all something that's happening on this plane because it's a reaction to our physical existence. But those emotions do tell us that we are not experiencing life at the same frequency as our inner being, as our soul. We are experiencing life in this moment when we're feeling depressed or angry or sad differently than our own soul. And that's really good information to have. You want to know when you're a little offbeat, when you're a little out of tune, out of sync with who you really are. Because if you don't know that you're off the path, then you can't get back on it. And it's your path, by the way. It's not somebody else's. It's not that you need to make a right decision or a wrong decision or a morally correct decision. It's just right for you. And the right decision for you is the one that gets you back into alignment, into connection with who you really are, into that Sat Nam, and into feeling really good. And it will feel like happiness. It will feel like joy. It will feel like peace. It will feel like relaxation. We have this phase going through our culture now, which is so great. There's this rising up of all these relaxation modalities and people listening to relaxing music and wanting to go to sound baths and yoga classes and concerts that, you know, uplift and calm the mind and soothe the mind. And these are really great practices to engage in, and how blessed are we to have so many options available to us now. There's really no excuse not to do some sort of mindfulness practice at this point, because if you have YouTube, then you have access to thousands, if not millions, of videos that give you incredible tools for elevating yourself, for connecting to that essential part of yourself, which is always high and always happy and always joyful. And the great thing about these tools, speaking of high, the great thing about these tools is that they aren't just band-aids. They aren't just a one-time fix. They are a sustaining part of a lifestyle. You can do them every day, and they don't get less powerful, and you don't get, accustomed to them so that they don't, do the same thing for you as they did the first time around. They sustain you. Whether it's breathing deeply, doing a long meditation, taking a long, restful shavasana, a corpse pose in yoga, doing an hour-long yoga practice, doing Tai Chi, an ecstatic dance, with some, I always feel like at the end of ecstatic dance, I want to sit and really reflect on it and use that focused energy to tune into myself, to tune into my higher self, my soul, because there is so much opportunity after we move our bodies and get our minds focused around something that is singular and uplifting. There's such a great opportunity at the end of that to sit and be still and get into that shunya, that 0 point. And you can feel it. Everything just connects at that point. And everything is still and spacious. That's the big thing, is in that point, in that meditative stance, you're feeling that spaciousness, that energy that is not contained, that you are larger energetically than this costume that, is containing your life force right now. So yeah, it all starts with understanding Sat Nam. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. It's a great mantra. And in Kundalini Yoga, we'll use it as a breath mantra. So throughout an entire class, you're thinking it, inhale Sat, exhale Nam, and it becomes something that your mind can hold on to so that you can really focus as you're going through the practice. But it's not just for Kundalini Yoga class. You can use it anywhere. You can use it while you're waiting in line at the grocery store. You can use it while you're driving. You can use it while you're walking. There's some really great walking meditations that you can use Sat Nam aloud, actually. But it's very versatile. It's very, householder friendly. You don't have to go into a cave for days and meditate. It's something you can use anywhere. And these tools that I share on YouTube, they are things, a lot of them, that we can bring into our day. They don't have to be done in private, at the beginning of your day. They can be done while you're waiting in traffic. A lot of them, don't do it. Don't close your eyes and meditate in traffic, but you can inhale Sat and exhale Nam while you're waiting in traffic, and it will be very beneficial. So thank you for joining me today. Try this mantra, Sat Nam. Try greeting somebody with it. So I once taught yoga for an after-school program, and there was this really cute girl whose family found out that she was doing the yoga with me and heard her say the term Sat Nam and thought she was, declaring something about Satan. So the director of the after-school program, asked me, could you do the yoga but just not use the weird words? And I said, well, in yoga we use these words. If you're doing ballet, you use French words. If you're, there's just language that goes along with certain practices, and I can assure you that Sat Nam has nothing to do with Satan. But I did find out later that if you break down Sat Nam, you have the sounds sa, ta, na, ma, which we call the life cycle in Kundalini Yoga. So you have infinity, sa, birth, ta, death, na, and ma, re-emergence. And so Satan has the words sa, ta, na, but no ma, right? So there's none of that motherly energy, and there's no re-emergence. So it's sort of like a cycle that's stuck. In our own lives, when there is something that we seem to be going through but can't get through, that does feel a lot like hell on earth. And in the yogic tradition, we don't believe in a place that is fiery and you go to be punished. But in your life experience, if you are just reacting to your life and you aren't making deliberate decisions or choosing your thoughts deliberately, you do end up in a cycle that does seem quite stuck. So that's my take on that word, Satan. All right, so we're not saying that. We're saying Sat Nam. And we are declaring the essential part of ourself, and we are greeting others, and we are seeing that essence exists in them and in all living beings. So Sat Nam.